third baseman. And a good catcher behind the plate who plays great defense, Toby Davis. The 2-2 delivery called strike 3. Marcus Sierra strikes out and becomes the first strikeout victim in the ball game for Eric Gillenwater. And here's another look at that ball for call strike 3. Boy, just backed the Sierra off the plate, and the ball floated in there right in the middle of the strike zone. Here's the leadoff hitter, Brett Plaskas, pops it up, could stay fair. Goodman going in front of his own dugout, and he makes the catch. Goodman went just short of the dugout to make that catch for out number 2. Boy, Guy Goodman, who's already shown us good footwork around the bag, also shows us he's not afraid to go toward the fence to make the catch on those dangerous pop flies. And I don't think most people realize how difficult they can be, even though the wind is absolutely no wind here at this portion of the game.
He has no fear. He's been there. He's played football.
The kick and the delivery to Tony Menzik, and it's outside for a ball. Strike 1 called, and it evens the count at 1-1. The kick and the delivery, and it's misses for ball 2. Menzik is out of North Barrington Junior High School. Let's check the signs from Toby Davis, and you could comment on that. He doesn't use many, Coach.
Well, 1, I think, means fastball. 1 means fastball, 2 means curve, 3 means get the ball over the plate. There it comes. I didn't see that.
Just a simple 1. And the fastball comes up, but it's high and away for ball 4. So walk number 3 given up by Gillenwater. And the Broncos have a base runner aboard with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 3rd. And Adam Sobocinski steps into the box. Sobocinski with a single back in the 1st, but was left stranded. And over at 1st is Tony Menzik.
Adam's a prime example. It doesn't take a big man to play this game. Adam's just a small man. He's got a lot of power, and he probably has a great big heart. A very good competitive athlete.
A 1-0 count with 2 outs and a runner on, and a shot into the left center field alley. That's going to roll back to the wall. Rounding 3rd and coming home is Menzik, and Menzik will score easily. And the Barrington Bronco fans have something to cheer about as Adam Sobocinski comes up with an RBI single, his 2nd single of the day. Menzik scoring all the way from first base.
There's your walk, Joe. The walk killed you.
And Sobocinski just went after that ball in front of the plate, got it out and sliced it into the power alley, rolling all the way back just short of the warning track before Mark Probst, the center fielder, could get it in. Menzik scores, and it's now 10-2 Galesburg as the Broncos try and roar back from an 8-run deficit. The hitter is Brian Cole. Brian Cole started the day on the mound, but lasted just a 1/3 of an inning. But he's going to remain in, and that's where the intentional, or rather the substitution rule comes up here as a good example, where Cole left the game as a fielder, as a pitcher, but he remains in the game as a hitter. 2 balls, 1 strike, 2 outs, a shot, check swing. It could drop, and it does for a fair ball. Rounding 3rd and coming home is Sobocinski, and it's an RBI single for Brian Cole. So Cole didn't do the job in the mound, but he's done the job here at the plate with an RBI single. And after 2 outs, Barrington has scored 2 runs, and it's now 10-3 as Cole just kind of checked the swing there.
That happens. He checked his swing, and the ball hit that aluminum bat. It just sprung right off there. You see how important that walk was. I'll tell you, it'll come back and haunt you.
So here's Byron Bradley, who walked his first time up, and he pops it up to the right side. In foul territory again is Goodman, and he makes the one-handed stab for out number 3. So 2 putouts in the inning for Goodman in foul territory, but in the inning for Barrington, they get 2 runs on the board on 2 hits, no errors, and a runner left, and we go to the top half of the 4th inning with Galesburg coming to the bat and leading 10-3. As the youngsters look on from Robin Roberts Field in Springfield, we want to remind you the next IHSA championship event on Sports Vision comes your way tomorrow at 4:30 when we present the girls Class AA softball final. Join Ann Penstone and Jan Smith as they will call the action from the championship game of the girls Class AA IHSA softball championship, to be aired tomorrow at 4:30 exclusively on Sports Vision. As we go to the top of the 4th here, with Galesburg coming to the bat and the number 7, 8, and 9 hitters scheduled to come to the plate and leading 10-3. Can a team get comfortable? You've been in the championship game before, Jack. People talk about how Oak Park, River Forest, always a well-disciplined ball club. What do you do to get the discipline out of your kids to keep their eyes off the scoreboard?
Well, that's kind of hard to do, because we had a little problem with that this year, but you got to keep emphasizing to them that, hey, this game is not over until it's over. It's one thing wonderful about baseball. Normally you have 7 innings. You don't fight the clock. You're not fighting anything. The only thing you fight sometimes is the weather. But you've got 7 times to come to bat. The other team has 7 times. So that's a great thing about baseball. You've got your opportunity to come back.
So another new pitcher in for Barrington. Going back to a right-hander for the Barrington Broncos. And pitching for the Broncos now, number 35, Eric Slagle. Slagle, the new pitcher, the 5th pitcher by Barrington here as we go to the top half of the 4th inning.
As Kirby said, there's no tomorrow. This is a game. You got to play one game at a time, and he's pulling no punches.
He really is, and he's going and using the entire bench and certainly the entire bullpen. Slagle, just a junior, on the mound for Barrington. We'll catch up on his stats in a moment. Leading off for Galesburg, the center fielder, Mark Probst. Probst on the night is 1 for 2, or rather 0 for 1. Check that. Probst 1 for 2. Has been on base twice, singled and scored in the first, reached base on a fielder's choice and scored in the second. Strike 2, 1 ball, 2 strikes. For Eric Slagle, in 9 games this year, he's 2-0, has pitched in just 24 innings, has given up 24 hits, and has struck out 33 batters. So he throws strikes. He's got an ERA on the year for Eric Slagle, though, of 6.13. So he's given up some runs as a relief pitcher this year for Barrington. We'll see if he can control that here for the Broncos. And leading off the 4th is a big single for Mark Probst. Probst on base for the 3rd time in 3 at-bats tonight with his 2nd single of the game.
Second base for the 4, Brett.
I think they might go to a bunting game here now. They might change their philosophy a little bit.
If they decide to turn things around in that fashion, they may. The kick and the delivery to the Brett Brewington, the 2nd baseman for Galesburg. Runner at first. Leading off over there is Mark Probst. The kick and the delivery is swing and a miss by Brewington. Brett is a lot like his father, the guy in the third base coach's box, the head coach, Gary Brewington. He's an outdoorsman, loves to fish and hunt and involved in conservation. A swing and a miss, and Brett Brewington strikes out for out number 1 in the 4th. So Eric Slagle gets his first strikeout on Brett Brewington as he went up at a rising fastball and missed for strike 3 in out number 1. And the number 9 hitter in the Galesburg order, Jeremy Klein, steps in. And boy, you can hear that ball just popping into the leather of the catcher, Jason Huddleston. Listen for this ball pop in. And this time you hear the ball pop off the bat for a single by Jeremy Klein, his second hit of the game. And Mark Probst moves over to second. Klein with that single over at first base. Now has 2 hits on the day. He had a 2-run single in the second inning. And Jeremy Klein, the number 9 hitter in the order, has been on base now 3 times. And boy, every coach has got to love to see the bottom of the order produce like this Galesburg lineup has done up and down the lineup here tonight in this championship game.
That's the secret. You got to keep the tail-enders off the bases. If they're getting on base, you're in trouble.
Well, here's a guy you know is going to erupt sooner or later, Corny Stanley. He's only 1 for 3, has struck out twice. But that single of his batted in 2 runs. But I just have the feeling that he's a kid that's going to really knock the ball loose still yet.
Yeah, they got to keep it outside because he steps in the bucket slightly. So they're going to pitch him outside.
1-0 the count on Stanley. And it's down low for ball 2. Corny Stanley had that 1-hitter pitched in the quarterfinal win over Glenburg South, winning 3-0. And boy, everyone went away from watching that quarterfinal win by Galesburg over Glenburg South highly impressed by Corny Stanley, not only by his pitching, but by his hitting as well, and his base running, a point that I guess we really can't overemphasize, being the strength of this Galesburg team, and again tonight against Barrington.
We might see him back as a pitcher before this game's over, too.
The kick and the delivery down low and away for ball 3, and Corny Stanley has worked his way to a 3-1 count.
They may make something happen here. Got a good lead.
The kick and the delivery, and he reached outside for that ball. And again, as you've been pointing out, Jack,
you got to keep it outside to him.
Over at second base for Galesburg, leading off, Mark Probst, who singled, and over at first is Jeremy Klein. 3-2 the count on the hitter Corny Stanley. 1 out. Throw it to first and very close, but the ball popped out of the mid of the first baseman, Radowski. Check that. Now over playing first base for Barrington is Brian Cole. The delivery and a shot to the right side. Second baseman bobbles the ball. The runners will hold, and the bases are loaded for Galesburg. Probst over at third base, getting some word from Coach Brewington. Take another look at that ball that went between the first and second baseman. The Barrington second baseman, Brett Flaskus, it looked like he had a handle on it and then lost it. And the runners have to hold at first, second, and third.
That was still a pretty tough play. If he did get the ball, he has to turn himself, square himself, get it to first base. That was a tough play.
A shot up the middle, and it's going to drop in for a base hit. Scoring from third is Mark Probst, and it's now 11-3 Galesburg. An RBI single by Jamie Taylor has brought the Galesburg fans to their feet, as well as the dugout out to reach the hand of Mark Probst, who scored from third base on that. The other runners have to hold because the ball hung up there, and the bases are loaded for Guy Goodman. Goodman is 2 for 2 today. He's been on base 3 times, has scored 3 times, has stolen 2 bases. He's done just about everything you could ask from the big Husky first baseman for Galesburg, and he looks at one low, but at the knees for called strike 1.
I look, Goodman may go to that left side again. He's going to go with the pitch.
Goodman out of Churchill Junior High School. Outside and high. You know, you look at a big Husky athlete like Goodman at the plate. And this kid, you know what he does on his spare time, Coach? He plays with computers. He's going to major in computer engineering at Wichita State. So he's a heady kid, not only an athlete, but a tremendous student. And he's got a lot of nucleus of brain waves up there. Bases are all loaded up for Galesburg here in the top of the 4th. They lead 11-3, 1 out. Here's the 1-2 delivery to Goodman. And it's low for a ball outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Barrington's got to get they got to get a strikeout here, really, because this could go out of sight here. They need a double play or strikeout.
Favorite food, steak and Mexican food, and if he wins tonight, I'm sure someone in Galesburg, like his family, is going to buy him a nice big steak for dinner and put some Mexican beans on the side. You know, we've talked about Toby Davis, the outstanding backstop for Galesburg, who's on deck, but this young man behind the backstop for Barrington's done a great job. Jason Huddleston. And ball 4, Goodman walks.
Goodman had good patience there.
Jeremy Klein scores from 3rd. Corny Stanley moves to 3rd. Taylor over to 2nd. And Goodman on base for the 4th time today. It's now 12-3. And assistant coach Dave Engel comes out to talk to his pitcher, Eric Slagle. Slagle, the 5th pitcher for Barrington today, is Huddleston, the catcher. To your right, in the middle is Slagle, and to the left, number 42, the assistant coach Dave Engel.
It's a tough situation to be in for this pitcher.
And the Galesburg dugout, realizing they may be in the lead by 9, but they're not showing any over-enthusiasm. They seem to also be showing some cautious patience, as I think the hitter Goodman showed us a moment ago at the plate.
There's never enough runs. You got to keep scoring them and scoring them and scoring them till the game's over.
Do you like the 10-run 5-inning rule, Coach?
Not necessarily, because I always say I don't give up, and I think a lot of coaches are the same way. You just don't give up.
No runs, or rather no balls, no strikes. Toby Davis with 1 out, and the bases still loaded. Let's check the runners for you again for Galesburg, and they've been moving around, so you need another new pencil and a scorecard to keep up with these kids. Over at 3rd base is Corny Stanley. At 2nd, Jamie Taylor, and over at 1st, Guy Goodman. The 1-0 delivery down low for ball 2, 2-0. Nobody warming up in the Barrington bullpen. I'm not sure if they have anyone else they can warm up. Maybe they'll have to bring Plaskas, the 2nd baseman, back into the mound, as they did in the semifinal win over Edwardsville. Shot up the middle. It's going to fall in for a base hit. Stanley will score from 3rd. Rounding 2nd and going over to 3rd and home is Taylor. And it's now 14-3. And Galesburg is smelling a 5-inning ball game tonight. Toby Davis just jumped on this ball, tried to jam him, but he stayed with it and singles up the middle just over the outfield, scoring Corny Stanley from 3rd, and Jamie Taylor follows in from 2nd, and that's runs number 13 and 14, and it's now 14-3, and Kirby Smith will make his 6th pitching change, and coming in from right field will be Doug Sokolsky, as Goodman coming in, and we'll have a pitching change for Barrington. Their sixth pitching change of the game. It'll be right fielder Doug Sokolsky, who plays outfield and infield, and dangerous Doug Schultes in the on-deck circle. He's only 3 for 3 today, 2 singles, a double, and 4 RBIs. And assistant coach Dave Peck over there having a talk with him, as warming up out on the mound for Barrington now is their sixth pitcher, Doug Sokolsky. What does this do for a team out there, Jack, when your ball club's out there and they're got a big lineup of pitchers coming in and out of there all day long?
You mean for Galesburg? You know, they've got to have some patience here. They can't be complacent. As I said, they got to keep scoring runs. But Barrington, I said, they're not going to give up. They're going to come back and play.
Sokolsky has only played in pitched in 7 games this year, 7 2/3 innings. He has given up just 4 hits, no extra base hits, 3 runs, 1 of those earned. But in those 7 2/3 innings, he struck out 12 batters and has walked only 7. So he's averaging a walk an inning, but averaging almost 2 strikeouts an inning. So on the mound, the number 6 pitcher today, Doug Sokolsky. A reminder for you basketball fans, the Chicago Bulls may be eliminated from the NBA race, but Doug Collins and Jim Durham are still on Sports Vision evaluating the NBA championship series between the Detroit Pistons and the Los Angeles Lakers, exclusively right here on the NBA Playoff Picture. That's NBA Playoff Picture with Doug Collins every Monday at 8 o'clock on Sports Vision. Well, this has got to be tough on the Barrington Broncos and their hardcore fans, many of them who took the 3.5, 4-hour drive from northwest suburban Barrington to come down here and root their Broncos on in the championship game for the 3rd year in a row. And here's dangerous Doug Schultes, the designated hitter. 2-run double in the first, RBI single in the second, and an RBI single in the third, and he hits the first pitch foul down the first base line. Out in right field now for Barrington is Jason Huddleston, who had been catching, and behind the plate now is Chris Thompson, a junior, and a foul pop-up way to left in front of our camera along the right field or the left field line up there in the grandstands. So a look again at the changes. Doug Sokolsky on the mound. Behind the plate is the new catcher, Chris Thompson, giving the signals from behind the plate to Doug Sokolsky, and a grounder again foul. And Schultes is down 0-2.
He's hanging tough.
Out in right field, the new right fielder for Barrington is the guy who had been catching, Jason Huddleston. So maybe Doug Sokolsky, who had been in right field during the first 3 2/3 innings, can do the job for the Broncos on the mound. 0-2 the count to Schultes. And he hits a solid shot deep to left field. Sobocinski going back, and went over his head. He lost it in the lights. 2 runs will score, and it's now 16-3 Galesburg.
I don't know if he lost that in the lights or if he just misjudged it. That wind has stopped blowing. There's no wind at all, Joe. If you notice the flag, there's no wind at all right now.
Well, here's another look at it, Jack, and I'll let you make the call.
He reached out. He went right with the ball. He's finally picked that ball up. I think he lost it probably to start with. He didn't pick it up right away. And this is a real bad time. Twilight is real bad. So they're not used to playing under the lights.
Stepping into the box for Galesburg now is Al Satunas. Satunas, a left-handed hitter. 16-3 Galesburg. Coming up in the bottom of the fourth for Barrington will be Sokolsky, the pitcher, Huddleston, the right fielder, and Shoemaker, the shortstop. The number 6, 7, and 8 hitters in the Barrington order. Throw over to second, and the runner, Schultes, is back in time. What a banner day, and what a banner day on this entire Friday for Schultes. He had that 2-run homer in the semifinal win over Marist. And here today, 6 RBIs, having gone 4 for 4. 2 2-run doubles and 2 RBI singles. Satunas 0 for 2, singled and scored in the first, walked and was forced out as he fouls one down the right field line and foul. Walked and was forced out at second base on a ground ball by the on-deck hitter Probst in the second, and lined out hard to the shortstop to close out the third. So Al Satunas digging in with a 2-1 count and 1 out. There's Schultes in the corner right bottom of your screen, leading off second base. The kick and the delivery, and a hard ground ball to second baseman Plaskas throws the runner out at first. Schultes, though, advances to third, and that's 2 away. So Satunas grounds out to Plaskas, the second baseman, for out number 2. And the culprit that started this mess for Barrington and this wild rally for Galesburg is the hitter, Mark Probst. He led off the inning way back when I could still see the sun dropping in the west. Led off the inning with a single, later scored on Taylor's RBI single. Probst also out of Churchill Junior High School. He'll be going to Illinois Wesleyan University as a pre-med student. Boy, I tell you, you got computer scientists, pre-med students, football, basketball, baseball players. You got everybody from all corners of Galesburg representing this Silver Streak lineup.
Galesburg should be very proud of these young men. That's what it takes. It's not only the athletics, but the education is very important. What are they going to do after baseball? They got to do something else.
Well, that's one thing Coach Gary Brewing had told us before the game, that he saw this team as a very easy team to coach. Most of the kids have played with each other since Little League days or against each other, and for the past 3 or 4 years have played high school ball and American Legion ball together on the same teams. So they're a tight-knit unit off the field as well as on, as has been witnessed tonight. And also they're a very intelligent group, very coachable group of kids. And that's made Gary Bruning's job much easier to coach this ball club to get here tonight.
I imagine the administration would say the same thing about them. They're probably good students. They're easy to get along with. They're probably leaders in the school. That's all important. What you see them on the field is not the big thing. It's what they do in the classroom, too.
31 wins and 5 losses on the year for Galesburg. And Probst draws a walk. That'll bring up the number 11 hitter in the inning, Brett Brewington, who struck out for the first out way back when this inning started eons ago.
Galesburg pitcher, I don't know if he's going to come out. Might be a little tight when he comes out here now. And I don't know, they might have had him up, warming up a little bit, but he might be a little tight.
The pinch hitter for Galesburg, number 8, is Kelly Healy. He's a senior. Coach Brewington taking his son out of the lineup to give Healy, a senior, a chance to play in the championship game. Ball gets away from the catcher, and a run will score from third. It's now 17-3 Galesburg. Schultes gets a good reception in the dugout after scoring from third base the ball getting away from the new catcher, Chris Thompson. And remember, Thompson did not start the game catching. Went down low, wasn't able to get down on the ball. Thompson, normally an outfielder and primarily an outfielder, as the starting catcher, Huddleston, was put out to right field. Infield back and straight away with a runner at second, 2 outs. A 14-run lead for Galesburg here in the top half of the 4th inning. And the train is getting to roll back to Galesburg. I'll tell you, it's a big week for railroads in Galesburg. I'll tell you about that in a moment, as the timely moment of the freight train rolling beyond the right field fence, beyond Robin Roberts Field here in Springfield. Haley steps out of the box for a moment. This is Railroad Week in Galesburg. This very week, big weekend planned at the Railroad Museum out there, and people come from all over the Midwest to see their tremendous collection of antique and modern railroad cars and engines. Got a great display, and then they have a big festival all weekend. I would have to imagine that one of those antique railroad trains is going to have a lot of very happy baseball players and their coach riding atop that through town in a celebration this weekend if this game continues at the way it's going.
I know that they're going to have a big celebration. Win or lose, they're going to have a celebration. So they might have an opportunity to ride on one of those trains.
The second walk in a row given up by the pitcher Sokolsky after getting Satunas to ground out. So Galesburg runners at first and second, as Healy over at first base. Wanted to throw over at second, but quickly back in time is Mark Probst. And warming up in the Barrington bullpen is Jason Shoemaker. Jason is just a sophomore, big kid, 6'2", 175, who may end up being the 7th pitcher of the game for Barrington. Jeremy Klein, who's had a great day. He's been on base 3 times, 2 singles, 2 RBIs. He's scored once and walked once. The 1-0 delivery, and it's down low for ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes, 2 outs. They're talking about celebrations. I'm sure there'll be a celebration in Barrington this weekend, too, for this ball club getting to the state final for the 3rd year in a row. And as you said, there's at least 2 more innings to go. Grounder in the hole between third and short. Holding up at third base is Probst, and the bases are jammed again for Galesburg. Jeremy Klein comes up with his 3rd hit of the evening, getting right past the diving Byron Bradley over at third, doing everything he could to stop the ball. And Jeremy Klein, the number 9 hitter in the order, 3 singles, 2 RBIs, a run scored and a walk. And over at third base now is Mark Probst. Over at second is Healy, and leaning off, ready to lean off first, is Jeremy Klein. The hitter is the leadoff hitter, Corny Stanley. Stanley is 2 for 4. He has singled twice with 2 RBIs, scored once, and struck out twice. Outside for ball 1. Klein is another one of those smart, intelligent students that's on this ball club for Galesburg, as Stanley drills one foul out of play. You got the computer analyst in Goodman. Stanley's going to be a businessman, and Jeremy Klein over at first base is going to go into law enforcement. Up high for a ball. Ball 2, 1 strike to Corny Stanley out of Cook Junior High School. Jamie Taylor on deck. The Silver Streaks leading by 14, 17-3 here in the top half of the 4th. And it seems like Barrington has been out there for years. That's got to be tough on those fielders, knowing they still have
everybody.
It really does in more ways than one. The 3-1 delivery with 2 outs is up high for ball 4. And Sokolsky has walked in a run.
I tell you, when things happen, they happen.
Probe scores from third. Healy moves over to third. Klein advances to second. And Doug Sokolsky will get a visit from the dugout from Coach Engel. Dave Engel comes out to talk to Sokolsky. 2 pitchers warming up in the Barrington dugout, or rather in the Barrington bullpen. 18-3 Galesburg. Top of the 4th. Warming up out there for Barrington, Stephen Rises, number 27. He's a junior right-hander, and the left-hander out there is number 36, I believe. The left-hander is Stephen Radowski. And we've just been informed by the Illinois High School Association office as we look at the totals up on the board today. Galesburg up on top. Doug Schultes, who I had mentioned, had 6 RBIs already this game. That's a championship game record. He's got 10 RBIs for the tournament, which is also an all-time tournament record here in the Class Baseball Finals.
I think Kirby's going to make another change.
So Kirby Smith, the frustrated head baseball coach of Barrington, comes out here, and he will make another pitching change. As leaving the ball game is Doug Sokolsky, and coming out is number 36 Jason Shoemaker. And we'll tell you more about Jason Shoemaker, the new Barrington pitcher, when we return after this timeout on the Illinois High School Association Baseball Championship game.
No big deal. It's a pain.
No, Carrie, it's called a Master Care car service.
Brakes, alignments, tune-ups.
The works.
It's no big deal. And a 6-month or 6,000-mile warranty covers parts, labor, wherever they do Master Care service.
From Seattle to Schnecksville.
Sounds right, this Master Care.
So right that fixing your car is no big deal.
Finally, taking care of your car is no big deal. Master Care car service by Firestone.
I thought they just sold tires.
The new pitcher for the Barrington Broncos is left-hander Kevin Minch. Minch is just a junior, 6'3", 195-pounder. Had 2 players in the roster with number 36, but this is the real number 36, Kevin Minch. Minch on the year has been in no ball games, has never pitched an inning for Barrington in a regular season or playoff game this year, but he's going to get his opportunity tonight in the championship game. The first hitter he'll face, Jamie Taylor, takes a ball down low. Ball 1. Taylor on the night is 2 for 4. Singles, stole a base and scored in the first. Flew out to right field and they close out the first in his second at-bat in that 6-run rally. Taylor grounded out to the second baseman in the third and singled and scored in the fourth. That was back in the top of this fourth. We're still in the top of the fourth, but more like the bottom of the top of the fourth. More like the bottom of the top of the fourth. It's like the bottom half of the top of the order. And don't even try and figure that out. This is the 14th hitter to come to the plate this inning. And it'll be the last hitter to come to the plate this inning as Jamie Taylor looks at a called strike 3. So Mintz comes in and does the job for the Barrington Broncos. But in the inning, it's a wild one here. 8 runs. Eight runs on 6 hits, no errors, and 3 men left aboard. We go to the bottom half of the 4th inning of play with the Barrington Broncos trailing the Galesburg Silver Streaks 18-3. Kevin Minch, who came into the ball game, number 36, the first batter he faces is the last batter of the 4th inning. Got that ball floating right across the corner of the plate, and Minch and Barrington finally have something to cheer about as we go to the bottom of the 4th, and leading it off for Barrington will be Minch himself. He will bat for himself, replacing Sokolsky, who was pitching after starting out in right field. So to move into the bottom of the 4th, it's Galesburg leading Barrington 18-3. For Galesburg, 18 runs on 15 hits and no errors. For Barrington, 3 runs on just 5 hits and 1 error. And actually, this game isn't getting very funny, but one thing that is funny and informative and always controversial, Ben Bentley, Bill Gleason, Bill Joust, and Rick Thielander, the sports writers on TV, and you can see them only on Sports Vision Monday and Tuesday nights. That's the sports writers on TV exclusively right here on Sports Vision. Out on the mound still for the Galesburg Ball Club, young man that's a new pitcher rather will come out of the mound as Eric Gillenwater will get a rest after going 3 innings and giving up 5 hits and 3 runs. Coming into the ball game, number 18 will be Lance Ayton. Lance Ayton, the right-hander, will step to the mound to face the new pitcher for Barrington, who will lead off the bottom of the 4th, Kevin Minch. Lance Ayton on the year is 2-0. In 11 innings pitched, Lance has given up 5 runs, make that 5 hits, no runs, has walked 9 and struck out 13. In 11 innings, he's 2-0 and has not given up any runs. I guess Coach Barrington's got to feel pretty confident with this young man, maybe going the rest of the way.
I think Gillenwater might have been a little tired. You know, he pitched today, and also that the fact that they got a nice lead here. He might have been a little stiff from that long inning. So this is not a bad move.
The leadoff hitter, Kevin Minch, backs away. The 2-0 count to Minch, and it's a called strike 1. 2 balls, 1 strike, no outs. And the on-deck circle will be Jason Huddleston, batting in his familiar number 7 spot as the Railroads go choo-choo-chooing right through Springfield. Always wondered why the trains never actually go choo-choo anymore. The kick and the delivery, and a pop goes foul behind home plate. Count stays at 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Kind of surprised me you went after that 3-1 count when you're down 15 runs.
And he fouls this one back up into the screen for strike 2, staying at 3-2. On the year batting, Minch has been in 18 games and 27 at-bats, but hitting only 148. This will be good experience for the underclassmen. And he hits a chopper over the mound of the second baseman, and the throw over to first for the putout. So Jeremy Klein, who has moved from shortstop now over to second base, while Healy, who replaced Brett Brewington in the batting order, will move over to shortstop. Healy over at short and Klein now at second. The Galesburg pitcher is Lance Ayton, and the Barrington hitter is Jason Huddleston. 18-3 Galesburg. Of course, the 10-run, 5-inning rule could be in effect unless Barrington gets at least 6 more runs. And Ayton's throwing some heat out there, Coach.
You know, the name of the game is strikes right now. Just throw strikes.
The 1-2 inside, just missing the inside corner of the plate for called ball 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Want to remind you, stay with us following the ball game, as we'll have the post-game trophy and medal presentations. And strike 3, swinging and missing, is Jason Huddleston for out number 2 in the 4th. Huddleston goes back to the dugout, and Lance Ayton goes to work on the mound. A good cut, but a swing and a miss. The Heat throwing strikes for strike 3. Ayton now will face Jason Shoemaker. And he hits a hard grounder to the shortstop, keeps it in front of him. The throw, and Goodman can't make the catch, but Toby Davis, the catcher, ran all the way from behind home plate to back up the first baseman. And I was mentioning this in a recent local cable telecast and radio broadcast on WJOL up in Joliet during the sectionals, how there's just a few catchers you see nowadays, Coach, who still jump out from behind home plate and back up the first baseman, as we saw Toby Davis do there.
He did an outstanding job, but he's an athlete, and athletes are going to do that. They got that instinct. They know what their job is. Yeah, now that is a great job.
Fouling back into the screen as Chris Thompson steps in. Thompson, the hitter, batting in the number 9 position in the order. Outside, gets away from the catcher Davis for a pass ball.
I guess he's human.
Well, I think he proved that point right here. Ball in his glove, just merely popped out. He had to go out and reach out for it.
He might have just been a little lazy on that, but you know, it's been a long day. Got 2 ball games.
Actually, it looked like he was looking at the runner, and the ball went out away from him. Got away from Davis, so the Barrington runner over at second base. Shoemaker leading off second for Barrington. Left-handed hitter Thompson just misses the outside corner of the plate for ball 2. 2-1 with 2 outs. In the on-deck circle is Brett Plaskas, the leadoff hitter in the Barrington order. Shot up the middle, base hit. Chris Thompson with an RBI single drives in Jason Huddle, or check that, drives in Jason Shoemaker for run number 4 of the night for Barrington. Well, you got to give the Broncos credit, Coach. They're not laying down here. At least not at the plate, they're not.
They're not giving up.
Chris Thompson, with his first at-bat tonight, comes up with an RBI single up the middle. And that'll bring up Brett Plaskas. Nice stop by Davis, the catcher, holds the runner at first. Plaskas up for only the 3rd time today. He's 1 for 2, singled and scored at the first run of the game in the 1st inning, and popped out to the first baseman, Goodman, in foul territory in the 3rd. Ball this time gets away on a wild pitch, and the runner advances over to second base. So an error, a pass ball, and now a wild pitch by the Silver Streaks has even pitcher Lance Ayton scratching his head. Here's another look at that ball down in the dirt, and Davis just couldn't stop it from getting behind the plate. Two 2-0 the count with 2 outs. The kick and the delivery to Plaskas. Heat up high. Ball 3, 3-0. On the 3-0 delivery, right across the numbers. Leading off second is Chris Thompson. At the plate is Brett Plaskas. The kick and the delivery, up high, ball 4. And Lance Eaton has walked his first batter. Eaton giving up his first walk since relieving Eric Gillenwater.
Come on now.
So Lance Eaton, who got the first 2 hitters to make out here in the bottom of the 4th, but has had trouble with the past 3, and that'll bring up the center fielder, Tony Menzick. Menzick's a senior, 6'1". Striking, athletic build, grounded to third, diving play. They got a runner caught up, and making the tag is the third baseman, Al Satunis.
Good play.
And Satunis' defensive marvel at third base, diving to his left, really makes a highlight worthy of this replay as it closes out the inning. Well, Coach, here it is.
He made a nice play of this. Very nice play. Of course, the runner can't go any place. All he had to do, he could have run back and touched third base too, but where am I going now?
And Satunis had his man trapped there, so in the bottom of the 4th for Barrington, they get another run on the board on 1 hit, 1 error, and they leave 2 runners aboard. And we go to the top half of what could be the final inning of this Class AA High School Baseball Championship from the beautiful surroundings of Robin Roberts Field at Landfair Park in Springfield, with Galesburg leading Barrington 18-4. Joe Passion along with Jack Kaiser, the highly successful baseball coach at Oak Park River Forest, always a powerhouse year in and year out to contend with. Time to give your ball club a plug. What are you going to have coming back next year for the Huskies, Coach?
We start Monday on our new season.
Wait a minute now, Jack. Monday?
Monday.
The baseball season, Jack, doesn't start till next year.
We started our summer program during the tournament time. We had our underclassmen out working with us, and we always start thinking a year ahead. So our spring training really starts next Monday, and we'll play between 30 to 40 ball games to get us ready for next spring. We've got to find out, we got to get some questions answered, and we hope this summer we get those questions answered.
Well, over 500,000 boys and girls, student athletes, participate in the Illinois High School Association athletics each year, and as they start out, they do it every year with the tremendous play. Not only in the summer, that summer high school baseball tournament's a great action. Joe Passion, along with Jack Kaiser over here in the broadcast booth, amongst the mist of press row here at Robin Roberts Field in Springfield on a beautiful week. And Clark, the cameraman's always got to get something in there. That's the kind of guy he is. And I'll tell you, the Sports Vision camera crew, director Tim Sutton and his crew doing a tremendous job out here this week with the Class A and Class AA baseball championships. Leading off the bottom, rather the top of the 5th, is the number 3 hitter in the order, Guy Goodman. And this man has been good all evening long. He's been on base 4 times, scored 4 times, has 2 singles, has stolen 2 bases. Hasn't bunt yet, but he's trying to here. On deck will be Toby Davis, the cleanup hitter, and dangerous Doug Schultes. The meat of the order coming up in the 5th with a 14-run lead for the Galesburg Silver Streaks of Coach Gary Brewington. And a pop-up left side will stay in play. Coming in hard is Sobocinski, but he can't catch up with the ball from left field. Sobocinski came in hard from left. Bradley went out hard from third, but neither could catch up to the ball. And the shortstop also coming in. Sobocinski out there in left field grabs his cap back to position, and Goodman back in his position in the left-hand hitter's box. 0-2 the count, the delivery, and a shot deep down the line up into the lights, but foul down the left field line and way out of play. To the left of that house out there are tennis courts, and there have been home runs hit out into the tennis courts already during the tournament. Schultes, who will come up later this inning, has one of the homers, although that went over the right field fence in the semifinal game against Edwardsville beyond the railroad tracks. 1-2 the count to Guy Goodman. The kick and the delivery by Kevin Minch.
he's getting a little more off speed. I think he's kind of throwing him a little off balance.
Minch, the pitcher, the delivery, and a hard grounder to the second baseman. Plaskis comes up with it and makes the solid throw. Solid defensive infielder as you'll find in Illinois. Second baseman Brett Plaskis.
He's a good athlete. He hustles. And he showed that today when he had to come in and pitch.
Came in the final inning of the semifinal victory by Barrington over Edwardsville and pitched the final inning and pitched pretty well.
He did a nice job. He threw strikes.
Toby Davis danced away from that ball. The umpire looked at him and Davis said, no, it didn't hit me. Watch this. Davis doesn't want to get walked. He doesn't want to go to first. He wants to hit the ball. Watch him dance, and I bet you he's great at a disco.
I hit his right foot.
But watch his reaction to the umpire when home plate umpire Jim Lapatina says, no. First he says, yeah, it hit me. Then he says, no, I'll stay here. And a wise move, a line drive. Unable to handle it is the right fielder. And another base hit for Toby Davis, his third single of the day. Well, Davis talked himself into a good one there. The right fielder, Jason Huddleston, who played the first 2.5 innings behind home plate for Barrington, tried to make a good play on that, dive for the ball, but just was unable to make the play. And Toby Davis over at first base. Gary Brewington, the baseball coach for Galesburg, making some changes in the lineup, wanting to give some of the kids at the other end of the bench a chance to get a couple of swings and maybe their only opportunity to be in the biggest game of the year, the Class AA High School Baseball Championship. We're in the top of the fifth, 18-4. Galesburg with the lead. Stepping into the box, number 24, is Doug Schultes. Had to get a new bat as some of the other players looking for bats down in the dugout. And Schultes, a grounder to second baseman, Plaskis couldn't handle it. Davis going for third. The throw is there, but over third base. Bradley makes the catch, and Schultes is on base for the 5th time. It'll be counted as an error, however, against the second baseman. Schultes just took a bad bounce off the lip of the infield and then on that dirt and went over the right shoulder of Plaskis.
That was kind of a bad bounce. I think the scorekeeper gave him a raw deal on that. That ball took a bad bounce.
I don't know how an official scorekeeper can give an error on the field, on the ground.
No, that was a bad bounce. That was a tough play.
Stepping into the box, pinch hitting for Al Satunas is Scott Benier. So Scott Benier will get an opportunity to bat here in the top of the 5th with his ball club leading over Barrington 18-4. One and 0 the count with one out. Pop up right side, drifting out of play, and will go foul. Barrington, under head coach Kirby Smith, finished runner-up in the Class AA tournament last year, losing to state champion Springfield Griffin. Won the state championship 2 years ago here in Springfield, and made it to the quarterfinal round in 1980 under coach Kirby Smith, but lost in the quarterfinal round. So they're making their 4th appearance in the last 9 years and their 3rd straight appearance in the championship game. And although it's a lopsided score, 18-4 here in the top of the 5th, that record pretty much speaks for itself for the outstanding baseball that is played at Barrington High School.
They have an excellent program. They also, when they leave high school ball, they have also an excellent Legion program, which Kirby heads up.
The delivery, deep fly ball, way back toward the evergreens. It's going to go over the center fielder head. Goodman will score with a smile on his face. Schultes scores and sliding in head first with the triple at his first at-bat is Scott Vanier. It's now 20-3 in favor of Galesburg. And Scott Vanier, with his first at-bat of the game, hits the ball deep over the center fielder's head, just short of 400 feet. Well, he got everything here, didn't he, Jack?
He sure did, and he kept his nose right in on the ball. He fouled that ball away. He got good arm extension also. When you get that good arm extension, you're going to get power behind the ball.
Brian Fitzgerald now in center field for Barrington just looked up at it and started chasing it down. And now up at the plate for Galesburg, pinch hitting for Mark Probst, is Sergio Interio. Sergio Interio swinging and missing at the first pitch, 0-1.
Good eye, baby! Good eye, Sarge!
1 ball and 1 strike to Interio. Vanier over at third base. 1 out here in the top of the 5th. To recap the scoring for Galesburg, they scored 6 runs on 6 hits in the first inning, sending 11 men to the plate. In the second inning, scored 3 runs on 3 hits, sending 8 men to the plate. In the fourth inning, or rather in the third inning, scored 1 run on 2 hits, sending 6 men to the plate. In the fourth, scored 8 runs on 6 hits, sending 14 men to the plate. And here in the top of the 5th, the 5th hitter of the inning up with 1 out and a runner at third. And Interio fouls one back into the screen behind home plate. It's 2 balls, 2 strikes. As the Barrington pitcher, Kevin Minch, the 7th pitcher the Broncos have brought in against the Silver Streaks of Galesburg in their white uniform tops. Kind of the old, from a few years ago, the Pittsburgh Pirate uniforms back in the World Championship season. The kick and the delivery up high for ball 3, whereas the Barrington Broncos uniforms exactly similar to the road uniforms of Pete Rose's Cincinnati Reds. Outside the B up on the hat, replace that with a C and spell out Cincinnati, and you got a mirrored image of the Reds. And Sergio Interio draws a base on balls, and that puts Galesburg runners at first and third, leaving second open. And guess who's walking out of the Barrington dugout again? Kirby Smith getting his exercise tonight. The head coach of the Barrington Broncos looking out into the field, trying to decide who's next. And it looks like he's going to come in with the shortstop. And still out on the mound, however, talking with the shortstop. And now he's going to make some moves. Well, while Kirby Smith decides where he wants to put who, we'll come back and tell you about how it turned out as we're in the top of the 5th at Springfield with Galesburg leading over Barrington 20-4.
Oh, great king of the jungle, who's the king of the car dealers?
Please tell us.
The king of the car dealers is Bob Rohrman.
That's a wise old lion. He's heard about my new Acura store. Arlington Acura in Palatine, the largest in the Midwest. With 6 acres of Acuras to choose from, you're bound to get a deal that's a really nice.
The king of the car dealers is Bob Rohrman.
I'm really just a big pussycat.
As the Galesburg crowd goes wild on the field, Stephen Reeves comes out to the mound to be the 8th pitcher of the game for Barrington. Stephen Rees will be on the mound. He'll do the pitching. Rees is not on the pitching chart for the Barrington Broncos. So going by that, this is Rees' first appearance on the mound this year. And the first batter he will face will be Healy. And it goes outside for a ball. Kelly Healy, who first time up, walked, replaced Brett Brewington in the infield. And it's outside and away. And the on-deck circle is a guy with one of my favorite names, Dusty Rhodes.
Hey, Toby, after you can throw.
Pinch running in the ball game, Brandon White over at first base. And the ball gets away. Brandon White, who is pinch running at third base, comes in and scores. And a throw over the third, and they get the runner over at third base for out number 2. So it's now 21-4 in favor of Galesburg. 2 pinch runners were brought in during the timeout as Healy backs away from one up high at his helmet, and it looked like it actually hit his helmet. Scoring from third is Brandon White, and being thrown out at third base was Joe Schwab. So it's now 21-4 with 2 outs. And Healy draws a base on ball. Kelly Healy walks, the second walk of the inning. And we look at the scoreboard up here, and it tells the whole story. And the story spelled with a big G. The crowd cheering on Galesburg. 21-4 the score.
Looks like a lotto ticket.
21 runs by one team is an all-time title record, according to Jack Danilowitz of the Daily Southtown Economist. Jack always up on those sort of things. So we've had a few records set here today. Talk about the other records in a little while. As 2 outs, 1-0 the count on the hitter, Dusty Rhodes. One and 0, 2 outs, runner at first, the 1-0 pitch, and it's outside. Of course, not only has this week been busy with the Class A and Class AA baseball finals, but also the girls' Class AA softball finals have been up Interstate 55 from Springfield and Mineral Springs Park in Pekin, Illinois, as Dusty Rhodes fouls one off out into the darkness beyond our camera down the right field line. And we'd like to remind you that Sports Vision is your exclusive channel for IHSA championships, and tomorrow at 4:30 it's the girls Class AA softball finals, and then on Tuesday to conclude the 1987-88 academic year, it's the boys track and field championships. The IHSA championship coverage continuing tomorrow with the girls Class AA softball finals at 4:30 and the boys track and field championships on Tuesday exclusively on Sports Vision. Dusty Rhodes swings and misses for strike 2. The Galesburg dugout. Called strike 3. And Rhodes looks at strike 3 to finally end the inning. But in the top of the 5th, for Galesburg, they score 3 more runs on 2 more hits. An error and a man left. And we go to what will in all likelihood be the final inning of the ball game with the score, Galesburg leading Barrington 21-4.
Steel and Lober, building great garages and satisfying customers since 1947. Call Steel and Lober now. And with your new garage, get a Protector insulated steel garage door and service door at no additional cost. That's just one reason to call now and find out what thousands of Chicagoans already know. For a great garage at a great price, Steel and Lober's the only name to know.
A Steel and Lober garage, the only name to know. Call 636-5660.
We go to the bottom of the fifth with Barrington trailing 21-4 against the ball club that's really dominated this championship series, the Galesburg Silver Streaks. Joe Passion, along with Jack Kaiser, the successful coach of the Oak Park River Forest Huskies. And what a pleasure it is not only to talk baseball with you, whether we're soaking up sun during the day, watching the earlier games, or working more on the formal set of it here in the broadcast booth of Sports Vision. And leading off the bottom of the fifth, Adam Sobocinski, and he fouls one off into the bullpen down the left field line for strike one. You know, Jack, you've been to a lot of these tournaments over the years. I've been to several even in my young years, and you know, you couldn't have a great tournament without great, I to say, officials. And Sports Vision would like to thank some of the people who have made this event run for us so smoothly. From the Illinois High School Association, Executive Secretary LeVar Astroff, Associate Executive Secretary H. David Fry, and the Assistant Executive Secretaries Charlene Bremberg, Ola Bundy, and good old Jim Flynn and Don Robinson. And from the host school, the guys that have been just superb out here with all the accommodations. From Springfield High School, their principal, Father Robert Erickson, the athletic director and tournament manager, and a lousy horse racing bettor, Ken Leonard, stadium manager, Michael Lyles, executive director of the Springfield Recreation Department, the public address announcer, Rick Piacek, and of course the Lanphier Park maintenance crew, who do a tremendous job here all year long. Thanks to all of those who have assisted us here at Sports Vision. On the mound, and with one out here in the bottom of the first, is Sobocinski is retired. Pitcher Lance Ayton on the mound. And of course, we've got to mention Coach Kaz from Springfield Griffins football team has been the media relations director down there. And
Springfield does a good job, and they got a nice ballpark here. I think the people take an interest. Of course, Springfield was in it this year, and I think it's a good ballpark.
It's a great town. Ken Leonard, the head football coach of Springfield Griffin, the tournament chairman here, the director that's really been behind this great event. And I got to give credit to Ken's wife, Liz. She was out here volunteering her time and also with their kids. And Ken and Coach Mike and Coach Kaz from the Springfield Griffin football team took me out the other night. Ground ball to the pitcher, and he tags the runner with his bare hand for out number 2.
Nice job. He stumbled a little bit there. He got off the mound and did a nice job.
Lance Ayton stumbled trying to get the ball, but boy, look at his recovery, and he does it with his bare hands.
Nice job.
Tags the runner, Chris Fensick, for out number 2. Here in the bottom of the fifth, 21-4 in favor of Galesburg. One more out remains, and the foul ball out of play just to the right of us. And at the plate, number 29, Todd Huddleston. So this will be it. Galesburg looking for their first baseball state championship with an out here. A swing and a miss, strike 2.
You know what this is going to be? It's going to be right down the pipe, Joe. He's going to rear back and throw it.
Toby Davis, the catcher, was so excited about being a strike away from the Class AA state championship, he threw the ball in center field.
He's a good one.
Lance Ayton on the mound in relief of Eric Gillenwater, who went the first 3. The delivery, low, ball 1.
He's going to rear back and throw it again.
He's going to throw the heat. the large contingent of Galesburg Silver Streak fans on their feet. Low ball 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. In its 38th year of high school championship baseball competition. Low and away, ball 3.
He threw him a breaking pitch that time, thought maybe he might go fishing.
And the Galesburg crowd behind the dugout just waiting for the final pitch. I think waiting to jump onto the field to carry their kids back up north to Galesburg, Illinois. Strike 3, dropped the ball. They'll have to throw to first. And although the crowd came running on there, Toby Davis made a good throw to Goodman. The ball game is over.
We're lucky we didn't get some players hurt there, Joe.
The Galesburg Silver Streaks of Coach Gary Barrington have won the Class AA High School Baseball Championship in Illinois this year as they defeat the Barrington Broncos. The final score